Hello, LinkedIn, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. Gotta pull that microphone close to me. Hope you're having a great Friday. My name is Frank Lavinia, and you can catch me in all of these places: franksworld.com, datadriven.tv, and the newish podcast Impact Quantum, covering all the interesting happenings in quantum computing. That mostly with a bend towards engineers. That's kind of our target audience. I'll put on the live chat. Hopefully, I'll get some live chat today. It's been my experience, since I am a rather data-driven individual, and if you kind of get the joke, it's right there. It's the name of the podcast. Part of the reason is I know that roughly this is the time of day around lunchtime that I tend to get the most views, particularly on LinkedIn. Starting to see a lot of uptick in traction. In fact, spammers have actually now found my YouTube channel. Normally I'd be upset, but apparently I am worth spamming now. All right, so let me share my new Twitter handle, new in the last few weeks. I think I've been on Twitter since 2007, so it's still kind of new in the scheme of things. Let me fire up the browser and show you some things that are going on Frank's World. Let's see. I don't want to share the whole window, just the application. All right. I'm going to start here because I did mention quantum. Oop, there we are. Let me do side by side. There we go. There we go. How's that? Is that working better? There we go. All right. So speaking of quantum computing, here's a post that went live this morning. A lot of interesting things happening this week in the Microsoft ecosystem. Lots of interesting things happening in quantum computing. So here's kind of a rundown of what I've done, what I blogged this week. For February, I already have 27 posts. Yesterday, I did a live stream on how I'm using Power Automate Desktop to kind of help, and some custom code I've written to integrate with an existing application. And I didn't realize that I was already above my quota in terms of, when I say quota, I try to target about 5 posts per day average. So one of the things that I want to point out is that this post here and this post here were created with a Powerapps flow. So if you're not familiar with Powerapps, let me kind of give you a rundown. Let's see if I can I can get into that if you like. Let me do that later. Let me kind of cover what's the topic on the live stream. Let me know in the comments or the chat if you want me to kind of go into what I've learned about Powerapps a little bit more. Powerapps Flow, the Webflow version of the product, it's pretty cool. So basically, anytime I post anything public to my YouTube channel, I have a Powerapps Flow that's listening for that, and it'll actually automatically post that video to the blog. And I totally forgot about this. I set this up a couple weeks ago. Now, what it doesn't do is the Powerapps API doesn't let you set a thumbnail for the post. So what you may see is that by the time it gets posted, until the time I can go in and kind of rectify that, that is kind of an issue. But, hopefully either I can write my own API. I was actually thinking about this last night. It's just kind of sad. I can kind of look at the WordPress API and maybe write my own REST API calls. I don't know. I've been thinking about that more and more lately. One of the other things that happened is I wrote a flow using the YouTube API, making just a regular generic REST API call. So what I do is I basically have a flow where I give it a YouTube ID number. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you go to any YouTube video, do this. Any YouTube video, you'll notice that there's this V equals something, right? Every video has it. And what that does is that unlocks basically the video ID. right? And I make a REST API call and I pull out all of the data that's in this, right? Even the data you don't necessarily see here, although I think with the TubeBuddy, you do see kind of these things exposed. But ultimately what happens is I get the description. I can probably get the comments too. But YouTube comments are usually toxic, so I'm going to avoid that. But I get the tags associated with it. And so if you look, so you see here, guy in the cube video, I have, this is a good video too. You should watch it and give it to any kind of business line folks. Because this is basically a good perspective on how end users actually consume reports you build. So if you look at these tags and you look, the tags here, they're the same. And they're the same because I'm pulling them from the API. Now, I have tools that I've written that kind of do this anyway, but what's really nice about this is that this post was made 100% in a web flow. So in order to kind of get back to message, in the absence of chat, we'll be looking at, so recorded a podcast yesterday. It should go live probably Monday. I'm gonna Andy and I did a live stream last week. I think we're gonna package that up. It's because I thought it was good. I have been slammed in the last 7 days. I am looking forward for a weekend. Got a couple of good things done for Project Ringgate. We're that much closer. I know we keep talking about it, but soon we'll have something to reveal, even if it's a soft launch. Actually, that reminds me, I got to talk to Andy about that today. Andy, if you're watching, you are welcome to be on the live stream, although I understand that you, sir, are a busy man. All right. So ultimately, one of the things I've really gotten into, or at least kind of discovered, is dynamics. And, when you usually think about, when I used to hear about dynamics, I wasn't really excited, I'll be honest with you. But something happened this week that really changed my perspective. And one of the things that kind of came up for a customer engagement I did as part of my day job at the Microsoft Technology Center was for let's say they're in real estate, this company, and they have Dynamics implemented already. But one of the things they want to do is they want to mine the data. Now, Dynamics has built-in AI capabilities and things like that. I don't know a lot about that particular aspect of it, but what excited me was not just that the Dynamics has AI built into it, right? Dynamics is a CRM and enterprise an ERP, or enterprise resource manager, ERM, that basically can kind of go through and I wouldn't say automate your business, but provide guidelines and an electronic kind of way of going through that. Think of it like Salesforce, right? It's kind of the same line of product. I'm waiting for the SWAT team to come in because I mentioned the competitor product. But what fascinated me is there's AI built into it. But here's the thing that really blew my mind is that now there's a kind of a click experience where you can dump all the data you have on your customers and your sales cycle and your business process and dump it into Data Lake. Once it's in Data Lake, well, hey, Data Lake is my jam. That's where I can go and I can kind of pull stuff out and do things with it. So as luck would have it, as the universe would have it, we actually had a guest yesterday on Data Driven, recorded a show. Despite technical glitches, I may add, this computer I'm on now actually froze just 2 minutes before the meeting and beep codes, all sorts of madness. But fortunately, I have a backup PC and I was able to record it successfully. And we were going to make it a video one, but Andy's video track did not upload. So I don't know what happened, but c'est la vie. It happens. Glitches happen. Just have to kind of recover from them. But so as you can see, I've been taking this course because I've been slowly fascinated, obviously, with Power Platform, RPA, or robotic process automation. And this is an excellent course with Vishwas. Vishwas is an awesome guy. And he's just fascinated by the potential. And you saw yesterday, I kind of did that whole thing, like, this is how I take a blog post and I can use Power Automate Desktop. And I suspect that there's a really good connection. Actually, the module that I am going to get to next here is about introduction to Powerapps and the common data service. Again, data is my jam, not necessarily Dynamics, not necessarily CRM, but CRM is a vector to collect data. In the same way, IoT is a vector to collect data. So that has me thinking, what sorts of things can I pull out of CRM? What parts of things can I pull out of Dynamics? This is just fascinating. And there's this whole customer, I think it's a CDP, customer data platform, where you can kind of get a 360 view of your customer. And this is really democratizing the types of things that, say, Amazon is really known for, right? They have a pretty good look at, based on your shopping patterns, based on your browsing patterns, based on when you order, a pretty good picture of what you're doing. And what excites me is that that sort of work is no longer limited to large organizations that have a pretty solid data science team. So you can kind of capture that in a bottle and then use that for smaller organizations. That fascinates me. That kind of inflection point or paradigm shift, whatever buzzword you want to use, uh, you know what that means? That means opportunity. And I suspect there's a lot of opportunity here. Definitely want to kind of get more into this. As you can see, I've been hitting Pluralsight. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I am serious about continuous training and education for myself. I can show you right here. Today is 149th straight day that I've watched a video on Pluralsight. Now, people have I post these on Instagram. So you follow me on Instagram, it's Frank Diggs Data. Let me throw up a. That's also my Twitter handle. But and my Instagram handle, they're the same. I should probably modify that graphic. Um, Sometimes it's just 5 minutes. Sometimes it's a couple hours, right? So don't think I'm doing this every couple of, 2 hours a day. Somebody wrote me wow, I can't believe you do this. And it's really just become a habit. So another thing I've done, and I don't know where my phone is. So I've been doing intermittent fasting on and off for probably about maybe a year or two. Yeah, before the plague. And I fell out of it during the plague. And when you're stuck at home, the fridge isn't that far away. So one of the things that I was like, you know what, for 2021, I'm going to do this thing where I will fast. And I have an app. Hold on. Did I mention I'm a very data-driven individual? So I have an app called Zero where I can track my fasts. And according to it, let's see. I'm loading it up. And I'll show it to the camera. Really high budget production, right? I don't have the ability to share my screen from the phone. I suppose if I work on it. All right, so 62 fasts in a row for 2021. Basically, I fasted every day except for New Year's Day this year. So, oh, really? So Zero is created by Kevin Rose? I had no idea. Let me put that chat up on the screen. John Wood is in the house. Thanks for watching, John. Thanks for commenting. If you don't know who John Wood is, you totally need to. He posts some awesome tutorial videos on Azure ML Studio, on ML.net. Great stuff. You got to check this guy's stuff out. I blog it a lot. And so Kevin Rose has been busy. Kevin Rose founded Dig in the mid 2000s. I believe it was Dig. And ever since then, I think he cashed out. Now he's like a venture capitalist type. So clearly he's doing a lot of good stuff. Kevin Rose is awesome. Interesting guy. And I think he was also on G4 or Tech TV, whatever that was at one point. Thanks, John. That's awesome. That's awesome. And it's funny because now I don't think about it anymore. It became a habit. And it was about 50, 60 days. So, a lot of these self-improvement gurus or whatever, they'll say it takes about 60 days to form a habit. And now fasting is kind of a habit for me. Now, some days I'll do a 24-hour fast. Some days it's just 12 hours. But the fact is I do it and I log it and I track it. So I'm I'm pretty happy with it. I like the way I feel. I have more energy. My energy levels are more stable. Last night, if you do follow my Instagram, um, let me load it up. It's the one sec. Instagram. Let's see. I will go to my. Let me turn that back on. There we go. I actually post kind of my progress on Pluralsight, as well as archery. Yesterday was a good day, so or 2 days ago I needed a break, so I just went out and shot a couple arrows. And swear to God, this target, this one right here that hit the target like dead on. Technically, it was like half an inch off or a centimeter off, but I was happy. That was my first shot. Everything else after that kind of fell short. So is what it is. Went to broke my fast. Oh, cool. I went to high school with this guy. He's pretty cool. If you're watching, Chris. Yeah, it was good. It was good. Good. Love me some Korean barbecue. Anyway, so distracted. Okay, now I'm hungry because I'm talking about food. I'm looking at pictures of food. But ultimately, there's a lot to uncover in dynamics, and it's definitely something I want to learn. I also took a Salesforce class too on Pluralsight. Pluralsight is a free thing that they've given out to people in my team and my division, and I've so far 78 hours and 27 minutes. Basically, since last May, my goal is to hit at least 100 hours, and so by May, knock on wood, I should be able to make it. But it's really about this revelation that I had a few years ago is that no matter what you believe in spiritually, whatever you think is going to happen to you after you die, the one constant that you can guarantee in this life is that you are stuck with you until the day you die. What happens after that? People have been debating that thousands of years. They're probably going to be debating that for a few more thousand years. But the one thing that's constant is that you have to live with you. You investing in yourself is a solid investment because no matter what happens around you, you are always going to be around you until you die, which point, who knows? Maybe you'll have no problems. Maybe you'll have a lot more problems. Maybe you won't be you. Doesn't matter. But the one thing that is consistent, and this is why I've been kind of feverishly working on myself since I came out of my concussion in 2016, has been this. And I'm all about the training. I'm all about, especially if somebody else pays for it. But yeah, so and I've been skilling up on power platforms. Definitely a lot that I want to do. But not a commercial for Pluralsight, but it is a commercial for self-improvement. So with that, I actually have to prep a PowerPoint deck for my manager for an upcoming meeting. So with that, I want to say thank you for watching. Thanks for watching live. John, go check out John Wood's stuff on YouTube. It is freaking incredible. Hey, John, did you ever get working on that SageMaker versus Azure ML video? Just giving you a hard time. I mean, I'm one of the last people on earth that should give people a hard time for delayed content. I mean, Andy and I have been talking about Project Ringgate for a while, and this. So you started and you haven't done much with it lately. Okay, cool. I'll definitely let me know when that goes live because I definitely want to see that because I kind of see. I played with both. Obviously, I work for Microsoft. They pay the mortgage, they pay the lights and the electricity. But I think that there's SageMaker seems like it has a very specific, narrow kind of use case. Granted, pretty good use case, but you're trying to present it at work. Cool too. Cool. Hey, awesome. I got a spammer on Twitch. Want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and viewers on then this bigfollowers.com. Most people, I used to get mad when I get spammers or spam comments or whatever, but I kind of look at it this way. I'm on the radar, and there it's cheap for them to spam, but there's still a cost to it. So apparently whatever thing I flashed up on, I'm important enough to flash up on that. So that's kind of my silver lining to spammers. The other thing I was going to say is based on what Jonathan said, is a lot of the presentations that you can do for creating content, you can also repurpose for work, particularly if you're kind of in the same domain. We're lucky that way. And vice versa, right? I mean, um, you know, there's a lot to getting back to Azure ML. There's a lot of things that Azure ML can do that SageMaker really can't do. It doesn't do. But I'm curious to see Jonathan's take on kind of the side by side, because I've got 100 other things I got to do. But that's one of the advantages of this robotic process automation and Power Platform that I've been working on, is building out automation systems for producing content. So I'll still be able to have the same level of content production, but having less time. Yeah, you can admit you're biased as well. Yeah, no, I mean, no doubt. I mean, obviously, take it for what it is. But I think it's a great platform, Azure ML, because you have the three kind of interfaces to it. Whereas, to my knowledge, SageMaker really only has that one. Yeah, you can do automated ML through other libraries, but it's a different tool set. It's a different mindset. But yes, I am biased. And I think it's cool as long as people know kind of like you have a bias, but it is a real good product there, real good value. So with that, I do have to jet. See, that's one of the advantages. Speaking of fasting, right? Like one of the advantages is I don't eat lunch. So I get that much time back in the day. And do I miss lunch? Not really. Like until I started looking at pictures of the bulgogi I had last night, I wasn't hungry. Where's my Instagram? Until I started looking at that, I wasn't hungry. Now I am. Maybe I should turn that off. I'll turn that off. But yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to that video. If you haven't checked out Jonathan's videos, definitely go check them out. I think he posts them on YouTube. I don't know if he posts any of them on LinkedIn or any of these other platforms or whatever. And yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. And with that, I will say you have a great weekend. I hope you have a fantastic Friday. Andy and I are actually recording another show today. So we'll actually have 2 shows in the pipeline, plus that live stream. So I guess 3 that I'll edit down. And if you want to be on one of these live shows, just reach out. I mean, I do these pretty regularly. I got my report yesterday that I was one of the top active streamers on Restream. Which I think that and $5 will buy me a $5 foot long at Subway. I better stop talking about food. So with that, I will sign off and wish you a happy weekend. I'll probably be back online tomorrow for my typical Saturday morning stream. But other than that, you have a great one.